So, you're in the market for a Porsche 996 and you've inevitably stumbled across the question, should you go for the purity of a narrow-bodied Carrera or the iconic looks of the Carrera 4S? It's one of the most frequently asked questions in the world of 996s, and today on 9wax TV, we're going to definitively answer 996 Carrera versus Carrera 4S. Which should you buy? This is another 996 special on 9wax TV. We love them. I've had 5 of them, including one of each behind me. So this is going to be an interesting comparison today because it's an often asked question. Really good thing about 996s is there are so many of them for sale, and all of them, the Carrera derivatives, they all sit really in that sub 30k category. So there are plenty of examples to choose from and therefore plenty of decisions available to you as a buyer. And that's why these two cars make for a great comparison today. C2 v C4S, which is best? Or before we take this video any further, I feel like we need to address these cars from the business end, because ultimately that's where they differ. I hope that's worked. It's the business end of any 911, isn't it? It's where the flat 6 sits. But we've not actually spun the cars around to show off the engines because they're exactly the same. 3.6 litre, naturally aspirated, same compression ratio as well as the capacity, 11.3 to 1. Not only are the engines the same, their tune and therefore power outputs are exactly the same as well. Both are rocking 320 horsepower, achieved at 6,800 RPM, and 370 newton meters of torque at 4,250 RPM. So they're exactly the same. And this is what's going to make today's road test here at Philip Raby really interesting. We are properly comparing apples with apples because both, as you can see, are coupes, both are rocking the 6-speed manual as well. We'll look at the cars in a bit more detail. We'll start with what we should rightfully refer to as the narrow body. All Carreras for the 996 generation were narrow body, with the exception of that one. We'll come to that in a bit. So whether it was a Carrera, which is rear-wheel drive, or a Carrera 4, which was all-wheel drive, they all shared this what we will refer to as the narrow body. It measures across the width 1,770 millimeters. We then move on to the wide body. And as I said, this half the reason it was an instant classic when Porsche released the car in 2001 for the 2002 model year. The C4S took the turbo body and indeed running gear and fitted the naturally aspirated engine to it. And it means, therefore, it's the only wide-bodied naturally aspirated Porsche 996, measuring across the rump 1,830 mil. So there is a 60 millimeter difference between the wide and narrow body cars. And if you are wondering, my wife does find me incredibly boring. As well as ditching the turbochargers from the 911 Turbo, Porsche gave the C4S the active deck lid from the Carrera cars, but then to truly differentiate it from any other Carrera, Porsche popped this on there, the iconic, and it really is iconic, full-width reflector bar. It debuted on the 911 in 1974. It's pretty much stayed on ever since. For modern Porsches, it's now a light bar all the way across. For the 996 generation, that legacy lies purely and squarely with the C4S, which is half the reason it's so unique. It's half the reason it's an instant classic. And it's the reason, to be honest, that right there is one of the best looking Porsche 911 rear ends, full stop. So as well as the difference in bodies, narrow and wide body, there is a difference with the wheels that roll underneath them. Standard spec on the narrow body cars, they were 17-inch in diameter. Many cars, though, were specified with the upgraded 18-inch diameter wheels. The C4S, because it took on the turbo spec, you've got 18-inch wheels. That was an 8-inch width on the front and 11 on the rear. So we've got slightly more rubber as stock on here. I mentioned it's C4S. It therefore is quite obviously all-wheel drive. It shares the all-wheel drive system from the 911 Turbo that constantly shares torque between the front and the rear axles. The big question is, though, how do these two cars drive? Let's find out on the public road. We'll start with a C2 and end with a C4S as we attempt to answer that question. Which should you buy? So, as we leave the premises here at Philip Raby, finished in midnight blue and rear-wheel drive manual, sport seats and MO30 suspension as well, which is a Porsche code for sport suspension. Also lowered the ride height by 20mm over stock as well. So this is as pure as you can get, I would say, from a 996. In fact, you're probably a limited slip differential and a power kit short of the ultimate 996 purity spec. And if you want that, go and buy the 40th anniversary, by the way. Well, we've got sport exhaust on here as an option. Fantastic. We'll pop that on. I mentioned the power that both cars make is the same. 320 achieved at 6,800 RPM. That is right round near the red line, because both of these cars powered by the M96, the famous M96 flat six. The red line is 7 grand on the nose. I do also need to say, for those unaware on this channel, I've owned lots of 996s. Is it 5 or 6? C4, C4S, C2, Anniversary GT3. 5. Yeah, 5 996s. I actually owned the C4S before the C2 because I went looks first. Oh yeah, love it. Yeah, we'll get out before a Dutch camper van, absolutely. That really is such a good looking rear ahead of me in that C4S. But then while ogling at those looks, I get the drive and feel of the narrow body car. That pickup really is exceptional. These 996s might lack the power of their successors, but because they're so light, their ability to pick up power, it feels really quick and brisk on the road without taking the mickey. I've said that before, I know. I mentioned weight. It's a crucial topic when dissecting these cars because there is a significant difference. The .2 Carrera, as here, weighs 1,370 kilos. The C4S ahead, with its all-wheel drive system, turbo brakes, wider body and wider wheels, weighs in at a massive 125 kilos heavier. 1,495 kilos. It is a hell of a difference, and we can't judge the C4S until we've driven it. But what I will say is, I'm instantly reminded at the wheel of the Carrera just why it's so awesome, and that is it's lightweight. It feels so lightweight to the point where, contextualizing, 1,370 kilos this car weighs in at. There are only 2 water-cooled 911s lighter than this one. You've got the Gen 1 Carrera and the Gen 1 GT3. Every other water-cooled 911 is heavier, and at the wheel here, that point is really hammered home. It's a lithe, sporty little thing, and the genius is its purity. It's pared back. This is a wonderful drive on narrow, curvy blacktop as we're on now. This thing is so delightful. Really responsive, not just in the way it picks up speed, but also in the way it dives in for a corner as well. Beautiful gear shift, beautiful soundtrack. We know I'm a sucker for a 996, and at last the internet is waking up to them, but this car is honestly such a great reminder of what's awesome about them. After a stunning drive in the sprightly, nimble, playful 996 Carrera, let's see how its wide-body brother in the Carrera 4S compares. Cheers, Phil. Ready to go? It's awesome to have Phil on this drive with us, and we'll get Phil's thoughts on these at the end because he was testing these cars new. And I want to start by saying I was so enjoying following this C4S from the C2 for its voluptuous rear. But do you know what? Being in the C4S now and following the narrow body C2, I think that car looks just as good. I really do. With new 911s, the 992 generation, they've popped Porsche above or in between the light bar on all models. which is a weird thing to do. It's almost like the company's having to remind you what the car is. With these old cars, they didn't bother putting Porsche on the back. You looked at it and you knew instantly what it was. And looking at that narrow-bodied Carrera ahead of me, yes, it's narrow in comparison to this, but it still commands a real presence on the road in a far less shouty way. It is so beautiful to look at. I mentioned this car was an instant classic when new in 2001 for the 2002 model year. And the sales records will underline that. There's over 23,000 of these cars made for global markets. And those big numbers is a chief reason why, despite this car being so warmly received by so many, it will never be a collector's item. There's just simply too many made. The only cars that could possibly be put into those brackets are cars with a very, very, very unique spec, like one of one, and or delivery miles, like that level of low mileage. Everything else is there to be driven, so don't squirrel these away. It's a waste of time. They look great. Sitting behind the wheel here and looking out the side mirror at randomly another 911 that's joined us, you can tell the difference in the widths of the bodies. You can tell this car has a larger footprint. There's just simply more grip available. And actually, whether the narrow-bodied C2 felt a bit more playful, felt like it could unstick the car a bit more, with the C4S, it just feels fairly unshakable, which you might think is a good thing. But again, if we're looking for a more sporty, engaging, fun driving experience, the C2 definitely just feels a bit sharper. At face value, I actually think the C4S, this is a 1.5 ton car, lest we forget. Well, I actually think this car does a pretty good job of hiding its heft, to be honest. Certainly the 125 kilos over that car. It's only, and this is from experience, not driving this car, which is currently for sale, driving my own car previously, when really pushing on, that's when it really reveals its heft. These cars will always understeer quicker than the C2s, the rear-wheel drive cars. You can geo some of that out, but you can't eradicate it. And believe me, I tried back in the day. I even fitted KW suspension on mine to lower the ride height, add a bit more precision with the suspension, and it was very good, but it didn't eradicate it. So this is such a great looking thing. It has great road presence, it's super grippy, but it just lacks that extra sort of 10% of agility really over the narrow body car. But it is by no means a big bloaty bruiser, definitely not. This is honestly such a joyful experience driving this car again. I'm delighted to say it hasn't let me down. I was preparing to be a bit disappointed. It's still delivering me everything I know and love about 911s, whilst not being quite as quick for in-gear acceleration as the narrow body car behind. It's no slouch, and actually the 0 to 60 between the two, there's only a difference of 1/10 of a second. This will hit 62 mile an hour in 5.1 seconds. That'll do it in a flat 5. Top speed, 3 mile an hour difference on paper, 174, 177. But it's in the nuances of driving this car in the real world that really matters, and there are definitely differences. All right then, that's a drive of both cars. As we usually say on 9Wix TV, there's no such thing as a bad Porsche. Porsche doesn't make a bad sports car. It's just about finding the right car for you and your lifestyle, and that's where a decision needs to be made on both of these cars. We'll start with the C4S, and it's all about the looks with that car. It genuinely was an instant classic as soon as it was released. And to be honest, looks-wise, that car has got better and better with age. It's like a fine wine. But to drive, you might find that the C4S is a bit lacking. You do really feel its heft over the narrow-body car. They do have a tendency to understeer. You can dial out a lot of it with a good geo, but not completely eradicate it. So while this is the car that you're more likely to get out of and give that look back as you're leaving it, it's definitely the C4S. Again, if it's all about that sensation behind the wheel, then the narrow body Carrera is right for you. Lightweight, nimble by comparison, beautiful, slender narrow body, which Porsche doesn't make anymore. That is the driver's car. But don't just take my word for it. Let's have a quick chat with Phil here from Philip Raby Specialist Cars to get his opinion on C2 v C4S?
I think as a driver's car, I would go for the C2, or as it should be called, a Carrera. I like the rear-wheel drive feel of the car, and for me, the narrow body, the lighter weight makes quite a difference. It's also got MO30 suspension on this one, and sports seats, and even red seat belts. So it's a proper sporty driver's car, and I think that's really hard to beat in a 996. Having said that, the C4S just looks fantastic, especially from the back and in seal grey. It's probably one of the best looking 911s from the rear. Yeah. And it's a more refined drive, I think, with a slightly softer ride. It just feels a bit more grown up and maybe more of a touring car. Okay. Whereas the Carrera's more of a go-kart to sort of have fun in.
Yes, I've just said in my concluding notes that the narrow body Carrera, that's more of the purist's car. The C4S has for years been like renowned for its iconic looks, I'm going to say, with that reflector bar across the back. But if it's, your driving purity is your ultimate goal, the narrow body takes it for me.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Oh, and it's interesting because we had a conversation with the team here, and I was the only one that would have gone for the Carrera. Everybody wanted the C4S because of what it looked like. That's youngsters for you. And I can see their argument. I mean, it is fantastic. And seal grey is probably one of the best colours for one of these. They're both great cars. I think it's really horses for courses. It depends what you want. They're both manuals. We've also got a seal grey C4S Tiptronic, which is a nice car if you want a more relaxed experience. And 906s, I think, just keep getting better and better. And
that's today's test. Thank you very much for your time. It's highly appreciated. If you're a casual viewer and you've not yet subscribed, I do encourage you to do so. It would mean a lot to me. It costs you nothing, and it just helps us unlock new experiences to share with you via YouTube. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you in another video soon.